Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, our dear viewers. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to our show, Ramadan at Sea. We are always here to talk about different issues, Islamically, and everything of that sort. Today, we are going to talk about the topic many of you don't like it, some of you like it the most. And inshallah, I'm here with my panelists, and today we are talking about polygamy, co-wives. I'm here with Sheikh Bulaf and Sister Shukur. You've been here before, so you'll introduce yourself later. Sheikh Bulaf, introduce yourself to the viewers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'm by names of Hussein Ali Bulaf, an Islamic law consultant, lecturer Islamic University in Uganda, Faculty of Islamic Studies and Arabic Language, main campus.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Sister Shukur.
My name is Shukur Eid Senkoboge. I'm happy to be part of today's panelists again of today's discussion. I believe that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala brings us with purpose, and I pray that in the end of today's discussion, our dear viewers are able to learn from us, and they're also able to pick out some practical knowledge that they can apply in their families, inshallah.
Inshallah. Today we are discussing polygamy. Many, the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the men to marry women of their liking, 2, 3, or 4. But if they can't be just, then it's recommended to marry 2 or stick to 1. So, the society we are living in today, polygamy is the order of the day. Muslims, non-Muslim, everyone, they are practicing polygamy. I want Sheikh Bulaf, you throw a light. How is polygamy supposed to be done, and how are they supposed to go about it when they are marrying? What should they consider? What are the factors that one should consider when they want to practice polygamy?
Thanks, sister. I really think we should make this a point. Polygamy, in as far as Islam is concerned, is totally different from the polygamy people know today.
Okay.
Yeah. The polygamy, in line with Islam, it has principles that govern it. If at all a man is not in position to abide with those principles, then it shouldn't be a place for him. Yeah.
Okay.
Surprisingly, one of the myths and misconceptions today, people tend to intermix the two.
How?
For example, I think, let me try to make sense out of polygamy, because I'm very sure we are Muslims, but at least many of us tend to mind zero about making sense out of polygamy. Okay. Probably some of the ladies might think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put polygamy in place to torture them, maybe something like that. Yeah. Polygamy basically means marrying more than one wife. Yeah. Before Islam, men had no limit in line with marrying. Yeah, it normally used to marry, men used to marry 1, 2, 3, 20, 30, 50. True or false? But when Islam came in place, Islam put polygamy in place with some limitations in it. Like, you really have to marry only 4 at most. Yeah? So let me try to discuss this with you. We all know that the number of women today is more than men. True or false? True, of course. And in Islam, if you ever think of consummation or maybe sexual intercourse, it has to be marriage, not outside marriage. True or false? True. So there are only 3 options. The first option, if we were to try out one man, one woman story, like every man today, Muslim or non-Muslim, let them marry only one woman for their lifetime. The question is, will all ladies get married? Of course, it's obvious they won't get married. Our sisters, many of them won't get married. That's it. So it can't work out. because at least every lady out there needs to be owned, maybe needs to have a home with rights to enjoy as a wife, not as a side chick, of course. So we can't go for that. The second option, if at all we are like, let every man marry one woman legally and have several side dishes. This is what is happening today.
Definitely.
People having legal wives and they're busy enjoying illegally with some other ladies, right? And it's very bad today. People are going in for that. So Islam is like, okay, if we are to try that option, let every man legally marry one, because that's what every lady is obsessed with, getting in marriage. Let you be one legal wife, but let this man be with several side dishes. Of course, with the side dish, we mean you're not entitled to demand shelter from the guy. You're not entitled to demand any bills from the guy if you're a side chick. But if you're a legal wife, of course you demand. It's your right to be provided to from the husband.
Okay.
Yeah? So the Islamic position is, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to be a legal wife or to be a side chick?
A legal wife.
Of course, a legal wife.
Yeah.
So at least we can't go in for that. Reason being, I wouldn't like my sister to be a side chick to a certain man.
But men provide more to side chicks more than their own family.
That's ignorance. That's ignorance, actually. And the reason as to why it's very easy for them to provide to the side chicks, it's because of the fornication story or maybe background. They need something from them.
And sustaining that relationship.
Exactly. You get. But of course, it's not nice. It's not nice. Someone who is religious can't go in for that. And check out the last option. Of course, you can't go in for this. You can't be a legal wife and your husband is busy enjoying with some several side dishes. So you can't take that as an option. What about a man legally marrying more than one wife with a limitation of 4? But when all these wives are sharing equal rights.
That is where Shukur comes in. Co-wives. It is becoming a problem for married women, married to one man, living together, not living together in one house, but sharing a man. It is becoming a problem. Co-wives don't want to look at each other. Why is it so?
Okay, for me, I don't want to put it a mistake that is maybe done by the men from the start. I want to say that human beings, we are created differently.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's the nature of a human being to be jealous.
Sure.
It's compulsory because, I mean, if your husband has another person that you love too much, you'll have to feel envious, even if he's righteous to her. And or she is righteous to him.
How do you know he loves her too much more than you?
It's really very bad that it's sometimes openly shown by the men that they prefer the other woman more than you. They praise her, they talk so
even
good
in
about
front of
her.
you?
In front of you, we see this. They do it. There are men who literally go ahead and talk in the family members and praise the other woman, and in the end of the day you will see people talk and praise the other woman and you are there. So in the end of the day the mindset will tell, it seems the man loves this woman more than actually he loves me, which is totally wrong. So from the day the man decides that he needs to marry, he must learn on how he's going to do it. He can consult those that have been there or those that already have women. How do they manage? Because in the end of the day, when this other woman is not happy about it, it will affect the marriage. Because you'll go to the other woman, you will come back to the other woman, and the other woman is not happy. She has children. She won't respond towards your calls as a husband, how you want them to be. Why? Because her minds are already biased. Yes. Now the problem comes to us as co-wives. Where does the problem come in? You have not established yourself properly as a man. It's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and you really want to marry another woman. No, it's not right. The woman has not gotten a permanent place to stay in. She's not comfortable yet. She still has a lot of needs. You are still struggling. Then along the way, you bring another woman in. So in the end of the day, there's a lot of disorganization and there's a lot of conflict that is going to come in. Polygamy is a beautiful thing. That's what I want to tell everybody out there to know. That
okay,
once
it is coming from your mouth.
Once the men balance and know how to play their cards properly, and they provide for these women how they're supposed to be provided for, it's a beautiful thing.
But men provide. If he buys Hajat number 1 a Sharia, he will buy for Hajat number 2.
They don't do that.
Really?
Not fully. The man cannot give this house 50% and does it. Sheikh Bulaf is a sheikh here. He can clarify it to us. He will provide more for another household, more than this other. It's very true.
Is that what the Quran says? You have to be just.
Balancing in line with polygamy is a bit technical.
How?
However, today, like many of the ladies anyway, wives, Muslim wives, tend to think it's the basic balancing they know. 1 kilogram of meat, 1 kilogram of meat. Yeah, true. But that's not the case with Islam.
Okay.
Yeah. Being just takes more than only that. An example. The first wife is having 10 kids. The second wife is having 2 kids. Do you really think a kilogram of meat is enough for the first
Definitely
wife?
not.
So do we call this man unjust if at all he buys 3 kgs of meat to the first wife and maybe 1 kg of meat to the second?
No.
Of
no,
course.
no.
Let's get to the clothings. Maybe the cloth of the first wife, the preference is something else, and the preference of the second is also something else.
Of course,
Yeah,
they
but
must
of course,
be different.
if one of the two gets to know what you've bought for the other, like it or not, there must be a complaint. So
How
many.
would they know?
Of course. At times it's out of the wives being too inquisitive to know what's happening on the other side, which is not also right. Yeah, you just have to mind your business because that's where peace is. Yeah, and to men, if at all a man is having more than 1 wife, he's also ordered not to take any of the business from 1 wife
To another.
That's a discipline in Islam.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they are doing it, of course, but of course it's wrong. It doesn't make it right. Maybe they never knew, because now they know. It's not right.
I'm very sure they know.
Yeah, it's not right. It's not right. Even when you're having battles with 1 wife, it's not nice. The discipline of Islam is like, keep it for yourself. Don't take it to the other side. Reason being, you're going to ignite something that isn't nice within your family. And you're going to be the cause of wars, disputes in the family.
What are the factors if a man is to marry a second wife? What are those factors that are forcing him to marry or opt for a second wife?
Factor number 1, it depends on the wife he's having.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember
How
some.
are we are talking about
Wife?
depending about the wife, but are we talking about behavior, something like that?
Yeah, generally, because ideally in Islam, a wife is a source of peace and tranquility. If you're far away from that, you're giving a reason.
But I think peace and tranquility is a two-way traffic. You give me peace, I give you peace.
Of course, it's a two-way.
So,
but yeah, it is a two-way, but still women are seen as the people who give care. You're supposed to be kind, supportive.
Okay,
to
this
the
is
husband.
this is what I enjoy when I'm saying. A man was created to provide. That's primarily the job of a man.
yes.
True or false?
True.
A woman was created not to provide.
Whether she
But
has
to
or she
create.
does not have. Whether she
course.
has.
It's not a role of the woman to provide.
Okay.
It's her role to create a peaceful environment. Of course, you know the history. That's why Hawa was created. Yeah, Adam was there. Adam's role was to strive and provide something, and Hawa was created to create a peaceful environment. So the magic is, if the husband is providing, the peace is going to be easy from the wife.
Definitely.
If the wife is being peaceful, creating peace, irrespective of any factor you're having, like it or not, you're going to be provided to. That's why some scholars made it a point. If a wife is being too stubborn, not creating peace, that alone makes a husband not to provide to you.
Does it call for you to marry a second wife?
Yeah, because naturally, of course, ideally, a man needs peace.
Mental health. I think to add on that is mental health of
Yeah, mental health.
Because, I mean, you cannot live in an environment where there's no mental health.
Exactly.
Mental health is the most important of it all.
Exactly. So when a man is in a situation with the wife, after the work stress, you have another battle to fight at home for 5 years, for 10 years, you would like to check out, most especially when you have an option. It becomes easy when you don't have an option. But he's seeing some other options out there. So of course, ideally, he's going to be like, let me try out this, probably will get the tranquility and peace. So you're easy paving way for this guy to marry someone else. But of course, it's not the only factor, because some lady might be there and she's like...
Some of them nowadays are marrying for fun.
Really?
Not considering all those factors. They marry because they want to marry.
Yeah, of course, everyone for whatever reason they give, of course, they need to want to marry. You don't marry when you don't want.
I feel like you must have a factor pushing
basing on that, she's talking in terms of trend. Is what is this sheikh has done it, this brother's done it, this brother's done it. I think I should think of marrying a second wife without a specific factor or without a specific reason.
Yeah, some of other reasons actually. That was only one. The second factor probably it might be the financial capability of this gentleman, whoever is marrying.
Because he has money?
Yeah, actually, when he has money, he can provide for many, maybe to many people. Not only you. And this is the magic of Islam, jurisprudence of the society. These men, when a man is rich, Islam sees that man as someone who can be of more good in a society.
Yeah, definitely.
You get? So the only way to be too good in a society is for some people to be under your umbrella, providing for them. They're enjoying some rights.
Okay. I want to know. Considering all those factors, if a woman is not, I would feel like you should consult me, your wife, and tell me, you might opt for marrying, but yet we can resolve all the things we are having at home. Can't that work?
Yeah, it might work. It might work if at all whatever you're going to discuss is resolvable. That's one.
I don't feel like there is something irreversible.
Of course, there is. Maybe the guy needs many kids.
Can't I give?
Maybe you're limited.
How?
For some healthy difficulties. Maybe. And we can't advise this man, because that's what they do today. Someone is married, just because he's afraid of your reaction when he marries, he goes out to give birth to some other, without even marriage. So you get to know that there are some kids when when he dies. It's happening, of course. That's when you get to know that there are very many. There are 7, 6, even limitless numbers. 10. Yeah, 10 kids. How does that feel? Yeah. So Islam is like it has to put boundaries for this. Yeah.
So everything is open.
Everything is open.
No,
everything is open.
How about when I really have a problem with it? The wife.
The polygamous situation? Of course, definitely you must have a problem. It's very normal, you must have a problem with that.
You cannot, just like how I said it earlier, we are born jealous. We have the element of jealousness is there.
Yeah.
There's no way you can be happy when your husband is marrying another. And that's why we see scenarios that men hide it from their wives.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to.
Marry. Yes.
They marry 2-3 years down the road, and the first wife doesn't know the man has
which is wrong.
A second wife.
Yeah, it's very wrong because it calls for very many consequences that are negative.
And doubts.
Yeah? Exactly.
The second wife doubts.
Let's also consider this, please. Are you a type of lady that is going to be in line to process the truth, and how is your reaction going to be?
How will you know if you don't tell me?
Sorry, let me come in here. I'm a little concerned because it's getting a point whereby our men are marrying and they are keeping it away. Well, it's a good thing to marry a second woman if he can, and than doing the zina and getting side chicks. I would be happier if he brings the woman there. But the essence of keeping it away from his first wife for a long period of time is unhealthy.
Yeah, true.
Why? Because this creates a lot of mistrust. For me, it would create a mistrust. As a new wife,
does.
Or even as the first wife. Because by the time you take the decision of marrying someone's daughter, someone's lady, and you keep it away from me, or you keep the lady in secrecy, it just shows your weakness as a man.
That actually creates more chaos than you coming clean and telling the first wife. Because definitely, when the first wife gets to know you got married, she's the one that is going to begin the chaos because you didn't tell them.
And it's so bad on you are sick in the hospital. This woman, her people know that you married her, and all her friends. But you get sick, you have an emergency in the hospital. The other family comes, you also come in, your husband is called, you also go. Then you meet there, wife, and they're asking, who are you and who are you? I'm the wife, I'm his second wife.
No, some men take it to a step and tell the wives not to come. Don't come.
True. I think let's guide the men that are in a polygamous family. Yeah, it's not nice to have 2 or 3 families without being open. Because you never know, you might die.
Exactly.
Die,
anything can happen.
There might be wrangles after you're dead. Yeah, people to prove whether indeed.
Indeed, she's legally married.
She's legally married. Yeah. So I really think men out there that are already in polygamy, it's a factor to let the ladies know. And it's Islamic.
Both of them.
Yeah.
If you don't want, you're not ready.
It's Islamic.
I mean.
And it's not in line with, we can't overrule men out there that are having issues with their wives respectively. Yeah, because of course, ladies differ. Yeah, there is someone you're going to tell, she's already old, having some healthy difficulties. Maybe it might affect her more. You never know.
You're talking of problems, and other problems are lying on the side of women. How about when the man is the one that is problematic?
As in, I've not got that.
Sister Shukur.
No.
Sheikh Bulaf said, if a wife is not like behaving, she's stubborn and stuff, the man can marry a second wife.
Yeah.
How about when the man is stubborn?
That is where the problem comes in.
When a man is being stubborn,
so
a lady has an option.
Which is?
The only difference in the option of a lady, it's not going to another man.
Subra, so that's what they say. Subra.
You get? That is it. It's not that Islam is busy jailing ladies from their freedom and so on. Like for example, the man is not providing, the man is abusing you. You have a way out.
Divorce.
No. Actually, it's called khulu. You take yourself off this man.
How so?
What
if he doesn't let you?
No, with divorce, it's a right of the husband. But with khulu, it's your right. Okay. And the first khulu in Islam was there without any reason. Guess what the reason? The first khulu we do have in the Islamic history, the lady was like, I'm not complaining about my man. He's providing. But she only saw her husband standing with some other companions, and he was the shortest, and he wasn't looking nice. So how sweet is Islam? Only that is a reason for a lady
to walk
away from you.
And Prophet was like, it's okay. Are you ready to give back the mahr? The lady was like, it's fine. Just because she's not comfortable. And the reason she gave was, I'm afraid of disobeying Allah by faking my presence with this man. Because I know I will. Maybe I will be called for some matters in marriage and I won't respond. So it's better to call it off.
On that same point, comes in courtship. Because before you marry, you go into courtship.
Exactly.
How about you see all those factors?
Now with courtship, we have very many funny situations today. Yeah, because people are too obsessed with the westernized courtship. Maybe the dating style of the western countries, let's say. But I normally say if people would adopt the Islamic style of dating, no one would be even afraid to be an ex to someone.
Okay.
No one. Because you separate respectfully.
In a good way.
In a good way.
And remain friends.
And remain friends. This is the Islamic stand.
A friend with your ex.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know why people feel too bad, and they even think leaving someone is just too bad for them? Because they're doing everything. Maybe they are sleeping together, and they're afraid. If it doesn't work out, he's going to talk about me. Maybe she's going to talk about me. Do we find that in the Islamic style of dating?
We don't.
Of course we don't.
We respect the teachings of the Quran.
Of course. We are like, you really have to keep it Islamic. Yes, you've showed interest. You really have to marry this lady. The lady is also interested. Learn each other socially, psychologically. Get to know each other. And then get into marriage. This is the Islamic stand.
To throw on courting, I think just like how Sheikh has brought it, that we have followed a lot of the Western way of courtship, which is totally wrong. We really need to learn from our elders and the learned people on how we can do the courting. And if you look on Islamic, I don't need to study you for long. I mean, why should I be in courtship for a long period of time?
Exactly.
Shaitan is there. And that's why Islam permits us to know you've liked someone, you've loved him, is he good, religious, are you contented? And Islam tells us go ahead and make nikah. The more you elongate it, the more shaitan comes in. Exactly. And once shaitan comes in, a lot of sins will be done. And I mean, once these things are done, the sins are done, already your relationship already has a black mark.
Exactly.
Okay.
Actually, the barakah has reduced.
I've just got to a point when Sister Shuku was trying to say this. The Islamic style of dating gives a man a reason to marry you as soon as possible.
Yes.
Because he is in need to know whatever he doesn't know. The westernized
We go back to polygamy.
Yeah.
Still on the conditions that can drive a man to marry more than one wife.
Yeah. The other factor, it might be with the health of the wife. Yeah. Maybe the wife is unprivileged. She doesn't give birth, let's say. So Islam is like, you can't just throw her out. It's not her fault. Yeah. Maybe she has just given birth to one and the doctors are like, you can't give birth anymore for any reason. So Islam is like, no. You still need kids? Go out and marry someone else. But even with that, a man is not allowed to disrespect that wife.
How about if it's the vice versa?
When a man doesn't give birth? Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, you call it off.
Because most of the time I've seen scenarios when a man is the one that is not in line of giving birth, they don't want to do checkup and they blame the woman.
No. That's wrong.
It's totally unhealthy. It's wrong.
Of course it's wrong. We can't even discuss that. If a man has refused to go for a checkup, that's the problem himself. So he doesn't
is the woman allowed to walk away?
Of course.
You cannot stay without having kids.
The reason as to why we get into marriage is to have kids.
Yes, you need people that look like you, or don't you like?
Exactly. And the Prophet was like,
and the beauty of marriage are the children.
The kids.
So the kids born are small. They grow and they will bond as small.
Exactly.
But in the end of the day, for me, I think polygamy and having more than one wife favors more of the man. Because it's the man who does it. This woman is, I mean, she has this problem, she has this challenge, she has this challenge.
Most of the polygamous families are chaotic. Most of them.
Not most, almost. Just say almost.
No, this is...
Because
I want to know, where does the problem lie? Is it the man, is it the woman?
The man.
How?
I'll start with that before she comes in. The man from the get-go is the problem. If you see any polygamy family not standing properly, the problem must be coming from the man. I'm not being biased. Because a man must be a man. If he says this, let it be that. But our men, honestly speaking, fear the women.
Why did they marry them?
How
did they even get to marry?
They do. I mean, women, one thing that makes a woman come so low to a man is that when she understands her husband is this kind of a man, she will come low and she will be obedient. But once you see the woman start going ahead to do her own things,
I feel
what
like
she wants
that comes from understanding each other. If you understand each other very well, where does that problem come in? The understanding of, you understand your husband, the husband understands the wife.
We are not perfect. I can understand you fully, you can understand me fully, but at some point of everything, there's always a challenge. Challenge will always pop in. And as I can repeat it again and say that Allah created us differently. We have different characters. I can be good to you, kind to you because I love you. But once you show me 1, 2 things, the love reduces. It's normal. Love is like Iman. It increases and it reduces, depending on how you treat me in the family. So if the things are moving on well and they're really organized, then it will be okay. But if you do your own things, you went ahead, you got another woman without letting me know, you went ahead and in the end of the day, the woman does not feel respected. In the end of the day, the woman feels like she's been wasting your time. And in the end of the day, Sheikh Bulaf and Sister Milfat, the men are very lucky that even when they are 40, they can still marry. But a woman, when she clocks 40, her chances of marrying is not there.
But we've seen many marry even at 50.
Women. I don't want to spot out. Only if Allah has blessed you with finance, you can marry at 50, a woman.
Okay.
But these other women who have been married,
by the way,
and they are 50 and they are not financially
men
stable.
These days, the Prophet ﷺ told men to marry widows. In case there is a problem and the man dies, a man can marry the widow. But these days, men marry a widow only when they have money.
Yeah. Let me try to balance this. It's like you're insinuating that when they marry a widow, ladies are going to be fine with it, which is not right. A widow, not a widow, a young girl, no one is going to be right with marrying another lady. Yeah? And that brings me to a principle. I've just got it when Sister Shukura was saying out something. Polygamy actually favors ladies mostly, as compared to men.
Shukur.
In the following ways. Polygamy works for ladies.
Sheikh, how so?
This is it. Whoever complains about polygamy, there are 2 things involved. She's already settled with the husband, or maybe she's seeing someone.
How is polygamy
a favor?
A favor
to
women, yeah.
Okay. Just imagine you're having a sister. Yeah? The sister is 40. She's a religious girl. Of course, she won't go in for fornication. Yeah? Do you really know that the more a lady ages, the more she draws off men off her back? You're 25. There is a group that deserves you. You get to 30, there's a group that deserves you. So the question is, who is a 30-year-old? A man. I'm talking of a man.
And there are men who can marry women of 40, 50.
Yeah, of course. They are there, of course. They are there. But I'm not talking of this marrying of people coming in and they're like, I need a woman who is well, who is stable financially. They really need to get married instead of them marrying. That's not the man I'm talking about. I'm talking of a man who is marrying to provide for a family. Yeah. No man that is going to be 30 that is going to think of a 50-year-old to marry in first place.
If they have money.
That's it. But if they have money and they're marrying them for the ladies to take care of them, that's a man in another caliber. It will be another day to discuss that one. It's not even right. Yeah, it's not right. That's why even right today we're having problems with men. They don't want to work.
Because
they just want to depend on the ladies.
Because the ladies are empowered.
Because the ladies are empowered. They have money. So he's busy sitting down and not even paying rent. The ladies paying rent. The ladies dealing with the bills. That's not the man we are talking about. We're talking of a man who is going to provide for the family.
Yes.
So if that is the man we are talking about, trust me, if the ladies would understand that, is it bad for Islam to create this field for the ladies to enjoy the rights of being married?
And how is that a favor?
It's a favor,
Actually,
because at least you have a chance to get married. Maybe not as a first wife, but as a second. But you'll be a wife to someone.
Okay, for us to be understanding.
Shukr, I want to ask you, are there advantages of having a co-wife?
Everything has an advantage and a disadvantage.
Are they, let's weigh.
But, okay, honestly speaking, 90% of co-wives that I've seen don't coordinate. The 10% that are religious, both of them must be religious and must understand the concept, must know why. Those ones, they could be, they are there. That
away from the concept that Islam allows it, I have nothing to do, I have to deal with it. Are there advantages?
There are advantages of polygamy, automatically.
Having a co-wife, you are a wife.
In case this woman is as good as you are.
Maybe better.
Maybe even better. Maybe she has more knowledge. Maybe she can teach me. Maybe she's more educated in something.
Are you in place to accept her, your co-wife, to teach you?
I mean,
because you're co-wives.
Let me tell you, Milfat, even before I answer that question, if you get a good sister, your husband marries two different women that are cultured and they have the religion, they coordinate.
Yeah.
I have seen
That
a scenario.
is very rare to find.
I have seen scenarios where co-wives coordinate and they love themselves and they understand dini and they help. When this one gets sick, this one helps. When this one gets sick, but the problem
on a scale of 10,
exactly, even 10 is too much. 5%. The problem we have is
5% is much.
Is that co-wives again?
I mean, at the scale of 10, it's like 0.1%.
Oh, not really, not really.
Finding those women.
Maybe if we are trying to get to that at the initial stage of polygamy, because even those that coordinate, there is a battle before they coordinate. Yeah, but after some time, they learn and accept the truth, and they are like, this is the way to go.
They accept.
Yeah, they accept.
I might accept that, okay, this has come, I have nothing to do with it, but it's not like I have to coordinate with you.
Yeah, it's also an option. It's also an option. Everyone, respectively. Maybe there is no good in a lady to give out to someone, and the better she can do is to keep it reserved, not to go there, not to know more about the other family.
Actually, the biggest competition we have, Sheikh Bulaf, is in polygamy families. These families compete.
No, may I think?
And a competition that is not healthy.
It's not healthy. Others even get pressure and even diabetes.
May I think men have it as a reason that you have to marry more than one if you need your wives to be perfect. However, it's not a fact.
But it's...
Yeah, and you know how they get to that? They're like, of course, they're going to compete. If you eat well this side, of course, the other side party is going to also compete. But it's not a fact anyway. But what I think is, the reason as to why polygamy is being misconcepted today, people hate it. It's because of the way it's conducted today.
And the
on
bias.
That same point, the way the men conduct it.
Exactly.
Many men go in to opt for more than one wife, and yet they can't provide. No,
that's not the point, actually. Because in providing, I really have to mention this.
Let me tell you, Shebula, I'm a woman.
Let him finish.
A lot of it on the provision is going to continue. A lot of the wrangles, if you didn't know, one, it comes from provision.
Provision.
Yes.
Which is okay, but this is the point. Providing, have you ever heard of a saying that women complain a lot? Is it a fact or not?
Yeah, I know. We are always complaining.
Exactly. But to me, this is what I think. It is okay
to complain.
A lady is supposed
and
to complain.
And then you also complain that we complain a lot.
Now listen, let me justify that. Whoever is inferior to any superior, there must be complaints.
Okay.
If you're a daughter to a dad, you have complaints.
You have to complain to him.
You have to complain to the dad. if you give a pen and paper to your son and daughter today, and you're like, please write down the complaints. Trust me, you're a mom and you're the dad, but they're having some complaints. And trust me, you don't have solutions to every complaint they're having. True or false?
True.
So that is it. If you're a wife at home, you're going to complain, which is okay. But it doesn't mean that the more you complain, it's what is happening. So put this as a point that out there. Complaining, people are complaining. Yeah? But they are supposed to complain because they are wives. Yeah, they are at the receiving end, in other words.
The way I complain when I'm one is not the way I'm going to complain when we are 2 or 3.
Okay.
Reason being, if at all you show the demand today when you're one and it's not given to you, you have nothing psychologically to think of. Where is the money going? But today, if you're 2
You'll
and
know
you
the money
make a
is going that
demand,
side.
definitely if you're not given whatever you're demanding, back inside your mind you'll be like, he is busy providing to the other side.
Definitely.
Yeah? So we rule that out in that respect.
Our minds really big.
When you're only one, not even having a co-wife, when you're denied whatever you're demanding, it's okay. Because the money might also be there.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're fine with it because anyway, you don't have what to think of. But of course there is a co-wife and you know he's delivering to the co-wife.
So everything
it's
goes
just
there.
obvious.
Goes there, yeah.
It's just obvious that you're going to think that he's providing to the other side.
Definitely.
Guess what? Even the second wife might be in the same situation.
Actually, in the end of the day, the whole 3 parties involved in this polygamy are affected.
Exactly.
This man will get pressure from both sides.
Then why did he marry if he didn't want the pressure?
Listen to this.
I think I need to answer this.
Listen to this before you come in. This man will even die of pressure, actually. Why?
He called the pressure for himself because he went ahead and married a second wife.
Okay, besides that, even before we bring that out, Sister Milfat, this woman will be thinking this man is doing a lot for the other woman.
True.
And the other woman will be thinking this man is doing it, which in actual sense, there's nothing.
Exactly.
And in the end of that, the woman will put pressure and the other woman will put pressure and this man is...
Exactly.
Loses his mental
That is
health.
when you opt for one.
Let me of course, to men who are weak actually in their mindset, yeah, but of course the pressure you're talking of, men are designed to handle it.
But they can't.
But some of
They can't.
No, it's not that
the
all.
problem is, Sheikh Bulaf, you have friends. You men have, the men have friends. They share it with their friends.
I think.
And in the end of the day, the friends will even come and tell you.
I think
your husband is not happy.
Let's educate the men out there.
Well, now,
Whatever you're going through,
keep it.
keep it. That makes you a man, Islamically.
You'll
Trust
die.
me.
Okay.
That makes you a man. What makes you a man
Other problems you find?
is to keep the pressure and controlling it. If at all, and what makes a woman
But sometimes
is to
it
disclose
gets out
that.
of hand.
Of course. And actually, there's even a campaign just of late, yeah, trying to claim men are being more depressed, they're being more tortured. Come on, they're forgetting the nature of men. That's what we go through every day anyway.
They are complaining we are caring more for the girl child
and neglecting the boy child. Anyway, that's a man. A man was created to strive, to see the well-being of a lady.
Sheikh, what are the punishments a man is going to face in front of Allah? A man that marries more than one wife and he is not in place of being just and balancing.
Of course, وَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ. It's well stated. You don't have to be biased in your family as a man. Yeah? Actually, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was even afraid, and he thought the just story also happens with the emotional feelings. However, it's not the case, because you don't have control over your emotions, but you have control of what you show out. So Islam is like, whatever you're feeling inside, even when you prefer a wife to the other wife, keep it for yourself. Anyway, you don't have.
They show it.
You don't have.
Yeah,
which is wrong.
They do.
Which is wrong.
Which is wrong.
Which is wrong. And it might be wrong on their side, and maybe at times wrong to the side of whoever is interpreting it. Maybe the wife, even something minor that doesn't matter, you might be forced to interpret it the otherwise.
What doesn't matter really?
Of course, very many, like for example, a lady in a polygamy family, for example. Maybe you're calling and the husband is not picking up. Back inside you're gonna be like, after all, he picks up the calls of the other wife. True or false?
True.
But does it make it a fact?
It does not
that
make
he's busy picking up the other calls?
Once a man thinks of bringing a second wife, whether you want it or you don't want it, you must be ready to deal with the challenges that come after it.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, the challenges that are going to come with the polygamous issues
There
is
are very
high.
many. There are
They're
very
high.
many.
Starting from very many reasons, starting from very many fights and stress.
Yeah.
It will affect you. And in the end of the day, you poorly hear that the men have gotten diseases like pressure. They have gotten diseases like diabetes.
True.
They have gotten heart diseases.
Because of the
managing
problems the wives are creating.
Yeah.
Shukur, how will Allah punish a co-wife that doesn't behave appropriately to the fellow wife?
Allahu Akbar. The punishment of Allah is clear. The Quran has stated everything. If you do this, if you disobey me, very many co-wives, I won't feel ashamed to mention it. They disobey Allah's teachings and they go and do shirk, so they win their husband is loved more than the other. So the husband loves them more than the other woman, which is totally wrong. And once you enter in, once polygamy pushes you to enter into such acts, then you are disobeying Allah. And in the end of the day, you will die a disbeliever.
Isn't the man the root cause of that?
No.
Islam because Islam has said it clear. It's accepted for the man to marry 2, 3, 4 with the factors stated by Sheikh Bulaf earlier on. Financial issues. If it's okay, he can do it. If it's okay, I mean, he has stated it out clearly. He can do it. But in the end of the day, it's how we react to it. Women leave their families, they leave their responsibilities. Women feel they're oppressed, they feel neglected, that the man no longer loves them, which is not the case. A man can marry maybe because you're not healthy or because there's a reason. That does not mean that he does not love you.
There are some men, sorry to cut you short, there are some men, when they marry a second wife, they spend like a week without going to their first wife.
But it's Islamic.
How so?
You just married her. The problem comes in now here. When you marry, the other woman does not know where you are and you don't tell her. Actually, you're here for a month.
Isn't it right?
No,
you put days that Monday, Tuesday, I'll be there.
Of course. This is the magic. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam guided. If you marry a virgin, a lady who has never been in marriage, you're entitled to spend 7 days there because of very many reasons. Yeah. If you marry a lady who was once married, yeah, then you're entitled to stay there for 3 days, just at the start. So when you're done, that's when you start dividing. 4 days I'm going to be here and 4 days I'm going to be here. Yeah. But initially you marry a young girl who has never been in marriage, the virgin story, it's 7 days because of very many reasons. You're the first man. Yeah, you need to prepare this girl. Even after intercourse are done, you need to make her feel that this is the new normal, something like that, because it's the first experience. But for someone who has already been in marriage, it's only 3 days. Just to be with her, and you're like, now the honeymoon situation story. After 3 days, you get back to the normal, because after all, she can even complain. You're like, no, you're not even better than my previous husband. So probably it's only 3 days. So it's Islamic, of course. At the initial
Is it Islamic
stage.
to complain? Comparison?
Comparison? No, comparison affects whoever is comparing.
Keep it in your heart. Why should you tell me that?
What is it?
She's better than me.
Exactly.
Or why should you tell Sheikh that my husband was better than you?
Prophet Muhammad, let me share a funny story.
Keep it.
We are running out of time. Within 30 seconds.
Yeah. A funny story. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his wife Aisha, she was the most jealous of all the ladies. Okay. And then she also made it a point to say that I never felt jealous of any of the wives of the Prophet, the same way I felt jealous of the deceased Khadija, who is the deceased. And the reason was, Prophet used to mention Khadija a lot. Yeah, because even the kids that he had at the time were for Khadija. So, cutting the long story short, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wasn't happy with the way Aisha addressed the deceased wife. So many of men out there, maybe, men, they normally take this as a reason to mention the good things.
Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did.
But this is the difference. Khadija was dead and deceased by the time Prophet married Aisha. So it's okay, of course, because she's dead. But these two wives are still alive.
Even if she's deceased.
Parting shots, Sister Shukr.
And if you're praising her in front of this one.
Yeah.
Even if she is deceased, she will keep saying, I think he loved her more than
But of course, just like the Prophet did. Prophet loved Khadija and he made it a point to Aisha. By that time, he gave reasons as to why he loved Aisha. The first reason was Aisha, like Khadija, believed in the Prophet the day when everyone never believed into him. That's a factor. And the second reason was she was just there for him.
We are running out of time. Sister Shukr, your parting shots.
Okay, first is fear of Allah. I will always stick on that. That we need to fear Allah. You're one, you're two, you're three. Put Allah first and know that He already planned it the way it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. So stick to the truth and worship Allah as much as you can. And if you see there's something really pressing you so hard in the marriage, you come back to the prayer mat and cry to Allah. Even if there's no solution on it, but you'll find your heart
Allah
at
has
ease.
all the solutions to all the problems.
Exactly. So you find your heart at ease. And whatever you thought was very hard, you'll see it disappear. So we need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times, and have to accept every trial He puts. Because the main reason as to why Allah Ta'ala created us is to give us trials and tests.
Thank you so much. Sheikh Bulaf, parting shots to the husbands out there.
The husbands, of course, and wives, come on.
No, husbands.
Of course, husbands out there, polygamy is fine, but of course, please remember, whenever you think of polygamy, think of the responsibility too. Yeah, it's not something to just brag around with, just like we do it traditionally. You have to consider the duties, you have to be dutiful to your wives, and so on and so forth. And then lastly, let's be in position to welcome the trials. It's a principle for successful people. Yeah, if you need to get to success, there are trials. Anyway, after all, this world is not for relaxing. Yeah, there's a lot here to make you sad. Amidst those, there are the challenges we've discussed today. To the sisters, polygamy is one of them. The message is, don't blindly hate polygamy, but if it happens, don't be tempted to do the worst because of polygamy, because that's not you. Don't be tempted. Yeah.
Barakallahu fikum. Like you've heard from Sheikh Bulaf and Sister Shukr, polygamy is not bad. Let's embrace it, and inshallah, may Allah give us the best. This has been Ramadan at Sea. This is CTV. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak.